Yes, and welcome to the Steve Taylor Community Star Show. I am Terry Crosby, Community Ambassador for the Taylor Automotive family. This morning we have a very, very special guest. We have a Mrs. Lisa McDuffie. Lisa,
Hello, hello.
thank you for coming in. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and it's my pleasure.
Good, good. Lisa, I'd just like to start off just saying to you, what a tremendous job that you have done over the years being the president of the YWCA Toledo. I have followed you for years, and you didn't even know it. Right? So if you want to call me a little bit of a stalker, that's okay, because I have really been following you. Because I love leadership, I love passion, I love people in general, and I could just tell throughout your career, just at the YWCA, those are some of the things that you love as well. So,
Absolutely, it is. I am really honored. I've been a part of the YWCA for 25 years. And the fact of the matter is, and I'm going to look right into the camera for this one, the YWCA is strong and effective and a wonderful organization, not because I'm at the helm, Terry, but
Right.
because of the wonderful dedicated board and staff that surround me. We are really mission focused. Everything we do in the name of making sure we are taking care of vulnerable populations. So I look good because of them.
and just tell us a little bit about yourself. Because
Yeah.
you just gave all the credit to everybody but you. And that's what leaders do. So I get that. I get that. But we'd like to hear a little bit more about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I'm born and raised here in Toledo, product of Toledo Public Schools, Go Rogers Rams, and back in the day.
Boo.
I'm not going to tell you the year, but I'm very proud of my affiliation with Rogers High School. Went on to Findlay College and got an undergraduate degree, went to Case Western Reserve and got my master's, met my husband, lived happily ever after almost 33 years
Yes,
later.
yes.
Have two wonderful adult daughters, both of which are, climbing that ladder, breaking ceilings, which is what.
And how many years have you been at the YMCA now?
The YWCA
YWCA,
for
I'm sorry.
25 years.
Wow, and you've been here for 25 years.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah. I tell everybody I started when I was 12.
And do the math, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's kind of been tough for all of us, especially since March of 2020 with the pandemic. And, it literally has. I mean, it's I kind of expressed to everyone that it's been the toughest year for me. And don't forget, I used to be an athlete and
Sure.
practice every day, compete in games and things of that nature. But this year has been extremely tough. So, based on that, how did you make those necessary adjustments?
Oh my gosh, I have to take a deep breath on that one. The fact of the matter is, we were, as a senior team, really watching current affairs long before the pandemic became the topic of conversation. I had the opportunity to travel to San Diego, and while I was there, the first diagnosis occurred in Washington State. And I just started reading and watching and paying attention. Later, it was found on the west side. And I came and grabbed my team and I said, okay, we need to begin to plan. So we started already with contingency plans of, what do we need to do to move remotely? What do we need to do to care for the families that live with us on a regular basis? And we put those wheels in motion. And so it was not really a surprise when we had to shelter in place and that the governor announced that. Things that we really needed to concentrate on that, we really didn't think about is we are the home for emergency domestic violence victims. They're, the women and their children. And for the first time in almost 25 years, after about a month into the pandemic, we recognized we had empty beds.
Wow.
And so that's not a good thing when you're the only emergency shelter in town. We recognized that more than likely victims were still being abused but they were staying in their own homes, either because they were trapped and couldn't get out, which, obviously is a realization when you shelter in place, you end up staying in with the perpetrator. And then clearly the other reason we believe is because people believed that when everything shut down, we too closed our doors.
And of course, you stayed open.
We stayed open. And we needed to really partner with community to help us get the word out. So all of our major TV stations, our newsprints, radio stations, everyone stepped in and helped us once we put the plea out that it's our assumption that victims believe we're closed. Please help us spread the word. And sure enough, our numbers went back up. And we've been operating that way ever since.
But thanks for sharing that. So you were kind of ahead of the game, really, right? 2 or 3 steps
so
ahead.
to speak, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That great mind that you have up there. Okay, lastly for me, I'm going to bring our marketing director, Nick Marconi, in a minute. But I got one final question from me to you, and it's based around this fantastic grant that yourself and your staff have secured and won. And I know it's a process, and I'm really, really interested to speak about how it all came about. And I think you once mentioned to me before, not too long ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that once you applied for this particular grant, you didn't even know that someone somewhere was watching how the YWCA operate on a daily basis.
It's all fact, and the one thing I'm going to step in right away and correct, because many people believe that this is something we applied for. We did not. That's what's really, really special about this contribution. We do not know how we made it to Mackenzie Scott's radar. We are told that she put out a team of individuals who scoured the country, all 50 states and the DC. And according to the article, because believe it or not, we know as much as many of you know from reading the article, there were about 6,400 nonprofits initially selected. And through the process of vetting, now, what they did to vet, we're not certain, but the article told us that they looked at financials, they looked at outcomes, service delivery, mission, connected to work. They looked at senior leadership, and they narrowed it down from 6,400 to a little over 800. And obviously, the YWCA of Northwest Ohio made that cut, and then from 800 to the 384. And lo and behold, clearly we made that cut because we received $2 million.
$2 million.
$2 million unsolicited, not vetted from our perspective. And, it's a really tight process in that my understanding is you really cannot even bid for dollars. You can't approach Ms. Scott for dollars. That's not.
And just repeat her name again for the audience.
Mackenzie Scott.
Okay. And she kind of works solo, doesn't she?
She does. She does. But you know what? I'm loving it.
and that money's going to be used to renovate some of it to renovate.
Absolutely. So a gift of $2 million, $1 million of it we have earmarked to really tee up our capital campaign that will allow us to renovate our entire building.
Yes.
And the other $1 million we're going to save and reserve for operations, just for those rainy days of when we need support in order to continue to provide our services.
Well, Lisa, thank you so very much. I mean, that's all for me. All of us at Taylor Automotive, we absolutely love you and the YWCA and your staff members.
Thank you.
So right now I'm going to turn the attention over to Mr. Nick Marconi, our marketing director, and he will take it from there.
Thank you, Terry, for that wonderful introduction. And Lisa, I feel like I know you a little bit better too because of the Stalwart magazine ad that we kind of put together and collaborated on. So that's supposed to be coming out next month here. So that'll be a special issue. Yes. So I feel like I got a little more idea of what you do. But I got a couple questions, I think, more about the YWCA. So we've talked about the impact it has on our community. How does it feel to be running the YWCA, and how does that make you feel?
Oh my gosh, it's extremely rewarding. I think from a couple of different perspectives. One, I'm a social worker at heart. That's really the foundation of my education, and to have the opportunity to not only give of myself, but to help individuals on a daily basis. I mean, every day is a different day. Many of the situations, the stories are the same, but each individual has a different path in how they ended up coming to us. And at the end of the day, to know that we provided effective services that really is going to be life sufficient in order for people to really put one foot in front of the other and recognize that they can get through what they're going through is very fulfilling.
Every day, too.
Every single day.
That's awesome.
And the other thing, I just have to mention this, I'm a firm believer in my faith, and I believe we are all here for a purpose, and this is really purpose work for me. I recognize I won't become a millionaire, and that's okay. I'm all right with that, because at the end of the day, I'm able to sleep at night knowing that, really I've done what I can do for individuals that really need it.
Especially after 25 years. So
absolutely.
That's a commitment. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where did you get this giving go-to attitude to really sacrifice yourself?
Yeah, really parents. My dad was a pastor. They're both deceased right now. Dad was a pastor, and everything about a Pentecostal minister is about giving and serving the community and having this servant attitude. My mother, First Lady, as we called her, was right alongside of him and instilled in me and my other 4 sisters that we are blessed beyond belief. And we're blessed not because, we have what we need, but because God provides and allows us to give that back. So it's paying it forward and knowing, again, at the end of the day, you've made a difference for someone else.
You and your sisters used to sing too?
Oh yeah, we did it all. Don't ask me to hit a bar.
Come on.
But I sing really, really well, but in the shower.
Gotcha.
That's for
I think
sure.
we all do. Yeah. Perfect. And our final question would be if people want to give back, to help, or to contribute to the YWCA, what's the best way to reach out to you guys?
Right on the website, www.ywcanwo.org. You can always call, you can always hit the tab donate button right then and there, or just send it in the mail.
And there you go. Thank you so much, Lisa, for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
Me.
Terry, great job today too. And that wraps up Steve Taylor's Community Star. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.